home video
Okay.
stuff, yeah.
Let's take a look. 5-step approach is fine. We're not going to change that.
Okay.
Walking nice and straight, so we're not going to change that. Swing stays fairly straight. A little bit of loop in that backswing. That's not a bad thing. You get it in, but you keep it in, so that's good. Okay. Definitely extra muscle in your swing. We'll see why you're doing that from the side view, but you can see how you pop up in the foul line.
Exactly.
That's a result of the muscling,
Okay.
and that's why a lot of shots you fall off to the left. Okay, so let's start by looking at the stance, which looks pretty good. Spine is straight, that's good. Left shoulder should be a little bit lower than the right. Arm against the side, ball in line with the shoulder, not too bad. Okay, we'll double check some of the angles from the side camera view as far as body tilt and knee flex, but it looks pretty good from this angle. Okay, foot position not bad. I think the distance of your approach is pretty good too. So a lot of good things here. Okay, now let's put you in motion. And I want to see that ball go right in line with that shoulder with the push-out, which I think you do pretty nicely. The main thing I show you is from the side view. It's a timing issue. Okay, so it goes out a little bit there and it comes in a little bit here. It's a little muscle there that will tend to lessen as we get you better timing. At the release point, definitely pop up at the foul line. This back foot coming up, the other slide foot turning, and the falling off left are all signs of over-helping or muscling your swing. None of those are problems, or results. Okay. Now let's look at a close-up view and I'll show you another result of a muscled swing. We'll see if that happens with you, is hand position. What I want to see when the ball comes into view is the backhand facing back, palm forward, fingers lower than halfway on the ball. Pretty much just like that. That's a good position. Okay. Want to maintain that position in the upswing, which you do. On the downswing, just getting around the ball a little bit early. See how the backhand is already facing left. So if we get you to that release point, before the thumb comes out, the fingers are already on the left side of the ball.
Okay.
Okay. So ideally, we like your palm still facing your target area, fingers still on the back side. Okay. If I go back about a half of a second, you're behind the ball here. Okay. And usually, early rotation of the hand is not a problem. It's a result of muscling your swing. Okay. Now let's check rev rate. Then we'll talk more about release. Thumb will come out. Fingers come through, so pretty good thumb finger separation there. That's nice. Right as that ball clears your hand, this piece of white tape is pointed straight up toward about 12 o'clock. We're going to see how many hours this tape goes around the ball as I click 18 clicks off the computer. Okay. Right about 5 o'clock there, so that's actually 17 hours you cover. That gives you a rev rate in the mid 200 range. Give you a range of about 250 to about 270 revolutions per minute. But you're pretty close to about 200. So I'll mark your average a little below average on that now. Rev rate is not near as important as the type of revs you're getting. Okay, if you stay behind the ball, the same number of revs are more powerful. Whenever you come off the side, the revolutions you get tend to be less effective, less powerful down the lane. Let's go back to that release point here. I'm going to show you a good example. I'm going to use who I always use. This is David Ozio.
Okay.
With good reason. Now, and here we'll make them left-handed for you even. There we go. Now, at the release point, this is one thing that touring guys do really, really well, is they stay behind the ball just that fraction of a second
I see
longer.
that. Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
And the reason that's important is the fingers will go from the center of the ball through to the left side as the thumb is coming out. So right here, his fingers are on the left side of the ball. That's about where your fingers are. The difference is his thumb is already out of the ball, your thumb is still in. So now when your thumb does come out, the fingers have less motion because they're already there.
Okay.
Okay, and then see how you tend to pop up? He tends to stay down. Okay. Again, the popping up, not a problem. The early turn is not a problem. Those are all results of using too much muscle. So let's go to the side view and find out why you're muscled in your swing. Here's your stance from the side. And really not too bad. If anything, I would move your elbow back just a little bit.
Left one?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so the form is more at your side. Okay. You tend to get the ball in the swing a little bit early. So the further you start with it out, the earlier it's going to get into the swing usually.
Okay.
So move that back just a few inches.
Okay.
Okay. Now timing is by far the most important thing. It takes the same amount of time to have a push swing and a free arm swing as it does to walk 4 steps. So with a 5-step approach, the first step with that right foot should be nice and small. The left arm should not move on step 1. The arm to move on step 2. And right there, you're pushing on step 1. So you actually push on step 1, and then you hold it on step 2. Okay. Definitely in the swing a little bit early. At the end of step 2, you like the elbow at the front of the side, the ball's still waist high. Okay, so what happens is you push early. There's 2 ways to catch up to early timing. One way is quick feet. The other way is to slow your arm down with extra muscle. Okay, and that's what your body's choosing. Had you kept that ball in motion with an early push, you'd have to have really quick feet to catch up to it. Okay, so you actually moved it, stopped it, and then you have to regenerate power by moving it again. Okay. So in my opinion here, in the swing a little bit early here. At the end of the next step, that ball should be at the back of your leg, just a little bit past that. So still a little bit early. At the end of the next step, should be at the top of the backswing, but not coming down yet. Pretty close there. Just about on time, and the foot should stop right as the ball passes it, and that's what happens. You're ending up in time, but you're having to use muscle to do it. Let's look at this next shot. So we're going to work a lot on holding that ball steady on that first step and pushing out with step 2. You actually push on step 1 and see the elbow's just cleared your side, but watch on step 2, the elbow doesn't move. Okay, then you start to bring it down.
So and does that first step need to be smaller then? Is that what you're...
No, but we don't want to move the ball on the first step. Okay, so
Okay.
that ball should not move at all to the left foot moves on step 2.
Okay.
A good way to practice this is next to a mirror so you get to see it. It's hard to feel, it's easy to see. So take 2 steps and stop, and what you want to see is no motion on step 1. It's like the hand and the foot are connected. On step 2, they move together. Okay. If we do a little comparison here, you're going to see the difference in timing. Again, I'm going to use Ozio, who has a 5-step approach. Very effective, to say the least. Okay. And we'll keep him right-handed here, but if you notice, right arm, right foot move together on step 2. No motion on the first step. So when he's done with that step, he's done with the push away. Elbows at the front of the side, the ball's raised high. You're both on the same step here. Okay. Now his ball's above this wooden rail, your ball's already below it. Okay, so I would consider you a little bit early at this time, mainly because of an early push away. Now he's going to let the ball fall into the swing. He just passed his leg on the next step. You can see just a little bit past where his ball is. And if you use that wooden rail as a gauge, his ball's still below it, your ball's halfway above it. Now on the following step, he's going to be right at the top of his backswing. On the next step, you're also going to be at the top of your backswing. Okay, so right here, you're both in time. At the release point, that foot should stop right before the ball gets to it. So right about here, the foot's done moving. Ball comes through. Has that great body position as a result of good timing in the loose swing. And with you, that foot should stop right before the ball gets there, and that's actually what happens. But since you're muscle, you tend to pop up. Okay, let's watch in real-time motion here. So you have a good game. You're just a little bit out of time. You're pushing a little bit early. And you can see how the ball's in motion on the first step, but then it stops. And then you have to regenerate momentum. So once that ball's in motion, we want to keep it going. Okay. But we don't want to move that at all until step 2. Okay, so your body's catching back up on time by using extra muscle. You don't have abnormally quick feet, so your body's choosing to use more muscle to catch up to the timing. But it's the early push rate that's causing the muscle in your swing. Okay. So we're going to work on the timing of the push and get that push a little bit higher at the end of step 2 on the ball still waist high. Okay. The lower the push rate gets, the more you pull to get the backswing. The more you pull up, the more you pull down at the foul line. And that pulling at the foul line is what's causing the early turn around the ball. Okay. So got one more shot from the side view, then we'll get you up on the approach and work on this.
Okay.
And really a lot of it's right in your start.
Okay.
You are repeating it exactly, which I like. What I don't like is you're repeatedly pushing early. And that's causing muscle in your swing. On a house shot, you'll get away with that. On a tournament shot, you won't. It's going to cost you a few shots a game. And that's too many shots to give up to the best bowlers.
For sure.
Okay. And again, the pop up of the foul line, that's kind of a result of the pulling through. The pulling through is a result of the timing issue. Okay.
Yeah.
So at the top of the backswing, you can just really relax. Okay. If that ball falls from here to here and you don't help it, it's not going to stop. It's going to continue to swing through. So that's where you have to relax, let the ball come through without helping. When you try to help it, you tend to pop up. So you want to keep this back foot right down on the approach. Okay. That will likely start to happen with better timing. Everything at the foul line, your body position, the follow through, the release, balance, those are all results of everything else. most of what you feel is here at the foul line, but most of what you feel cannot be corrected there. Those are results of, in your case, an early push away.
Okay.
So in my opinion, it goes right back to the early push away. Okay.
Okay.
Now, muscle memory is very strong. You bowl this way without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
Just because you're going to think differently, your muscles don't care. Okay. Now, muscles don't think, so you can't reason with them. But the good thing about them not thinking is you can fool them very easily. For you to push on time, it's going to actually feel like you push late. Because right now you're pushing time, pushing early, which feels on time. So if early feels on time is going to feel late. Okay? And that's why it's good to practice with the visuals so you don't have to fake yourself out. Okay? Any questions over anything I pointed out? All right? Good. Last shot. Okay, I'm going to do a split screen picture so you can really see the difference. On the right is your original one. So in the stance, you got you straightened up a little bit, got the elbow back, got the ball up a little bit higher. Okay. Now let's go to the end of step one on the right. And what you're going to see is on the right, when that right foot moves, watch the arm. You had a push away on step one. So the end of step one, that's where you got to. If you come over here on step one on the left, you did a pretty good job of not moving that arm at all on step one. Okay. So that's pretty good. Quite a difference already in arm position and body position. Okay. If you go to that push away on the left, arm and the foot move together on step two. When the ball, elbow at the front of the side, the ball up about waist high. You can have that up another couple inches higher even. Okay. But if we watch the push away on the right, you're going to see already a difference. And notice the ball didn't move much on that step, but it did come down some. So again, this ball is a good ball higher at least than the one on the right. On the following step, on the right, at the end of the step, ball gets right to the middle of that rail. Over here, it's not going to be quite as high, which tells us you're not quite as early. Okay, so the toes just touching. See the difference of where the ball is. If you go to the next step, the backswing. Top of the backswing here, you'll be at the top of the backswing here. So it really hasn't changed much there. We just got you there a little bit differently. Okay. At the release point, we're going to see very similar timing also. The foot will stop, ball comes through. But with the muscle in your swing, you tended to pop up and lose that knee bend. Over here, with a looser swing, maintain the knee bend, stay down better. So much better position of the foul line. So let's play these two shots together so you can see these changes as they happen. And what we're going to see is on the right, we're going to see a little bit earlier push away. So right there, the ball's already in motion, but then it stops.
It's in motion. Nice.
And now see, they match up at the end.
Wow.
We just got you there differently.
Interesting.
Okay, with better balance. Okay.
Okay.
So what we did, we delayed the push on the left, so then once it moves, it's a fluid motion. Once that ball's in motion, you don't want to stop it because then you have to regenerate it with extra effort or more muscle. So it's just a little more fluid motion in that swing. And notice you on the left started walking before you on the right. Remember I said one way your body does catch up to earlier timing is quicker feet as well as a slower arm. But that's why they end up the same. Again, you're ending up in time on both. So we didn't want to change that. We just got you starting in time on the left. A lot of this stuff is easy to see, it's hard to feel.
It is. But in this case, I can feel myself more perpendicular at the
Right.
line, too. I can
Good.
feel myself up instead
Yep.
of pushing down.
Definitely better balance.
Right.
In fact, let's look at this last shot here on a full screen. And watch on step two, once that ball moves, there's no hesitation, it just keeps moving. Just out on two, down on three, it's a nice fluid motion. Good footwork, and very good position of the foul line. If we watch your original one again, you're going to see the ball's going to move on step one, but then it stops on step two. See, it moves and stops, and then you have to regenerate. Now, you weren't that choppy, that's my computer, okay?
You're kind.
I know you weren't that choppy before. Let's see what this one plays smoother here. There we go. But you can definitely see how that's more controlled, more muscled.
Yeah.
So the early push, and then on step two you kind of held it. Pushed, and then you held it, and then you had to regenerate momentum again. And that'll cause you to pull up a little bit here and pull up a little bit there. This one here, it's a more fluid motion. You're using the weight of the ball and gravity more to your advantage. Okay. So it's a little bit less effort, a little bit more repeatable motion once your body accepts it because you're using less muscle. Okay. So key things for you to think about is the timing of the push, where that push ends up on step 2. You want it still waist high instead of down below the waist. Then it's a matter of relaxing that arm. Once you're done with the push, just let the ball drop. Just feel like your arm's along for the ride. At the finish, 2 ways to work on that finish. Maybe 5 or 10 shots on the feeling of just the arm just free swinging through without helping it. And then 5 or 10 shots on keeping that right foot down. Okay. It's like a puzzle. You have to work on one little piece at a time. Okay. Most important pieces are the beginning pieces. You started having better balance already just when we worked on the timing of the push. So a lot of the ending things will tend to correct themselves. That's why I'm really not too worried about your release. I think that early turn was more of a result of the muscle than a release problem. So most of the time, early turn is a result of extra muscling in the swing, usually because of a timing issue. So if we get you better timing, less muscle in the swing, the early turn tends to go away. Okay. Does everything make sense that we did?
It does.
Okay.
It's nice to see it, too.
Yep. It's nothing major, but it makes a really, really big difference in ball reaction on tougher patterns.
Yeah, okay.
A real big difference. Okay.
So you're saying just square yourself up a little bit more because the ball's not going to jump.
Right,
It's
and
gonna be more smooth
right,
around the line.
and my shot here, I have all the way to the gutter.
Okay.
Okay, so it's a much tougher than a house shot. A house shot, if you miss left, it's going to hook back stronger. Okay, but what happens is whenever you're muscled in your swing, your ball's going to read that pattern sooner. Okay, so that forces you to play further in. Once we get your swing loosened up, you got a lot more length through the heads. So that's why we moved you further left. Okay, but that'll make it easier to read lane conditions also. When you're with a muscled swing, one ball will hook early, the next ball doesn't hook, and then you don't know which way to move. Okay, so with a looser swing, you get a better read of the lane conditions and more quickly also.
Okay.
So if you feel like you're working too hard when you're bowling, you're right. Okay, should feel pretty effortless, pretty smooth in that motion. So whenever you feel off in your game, now you know the first thing to look at is the timing of the push, because that's what was throwing your game off before. Okay. Everything makes sense that we did today?
Yeah.
Good.
Very nice.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Let's stop the tape here.